Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm the professor Diego Trevisan, and before we started our class about the application of landscape metrics, I prepared a brief presentation about myself, my university here in Brazil and our country. I will give you small details about the research I've been doing here in Brazil, applying landscape metrics in some biomes in Brazil, and some contextualization about the Brazil characteristics. Before we started, I would like to thank you, Professor Poliana, for the opportunity to be here with you guys. It will be a nice time with you. And in our presentation, we will see a little bit about the Federal University of São Carlos. It's the university I'm working nowadays. We'll see some information about the Environmental Science Department that I'm research associated. Uh, the research line is in our postgraduate program in Environmental Science. I will present my research group, some information about Brazil, and about my research background. I am born and raised in São Carlos region. It's a city inside São Paulo state in southwest of Brazil. Our city has a 1,000 kilometers square and a population of 2,500,000 inhabitants. And in São Carlos and also in São Paulo state, our economy is moved by sugarcane and for sugar and alcohol production. We live in an elevation of 1,000 meters and a drainage network with 1,000 kilometers. And the Federal University of São Carlos, that the university I'm working these days, it's divided in four campuses located in some cities in São Paulo state. Our campus here in São Carlos has 600 hectares of extension. It was before started the activities. Our university was a farm donated by some works here in São Carlos, and of constructed area we have 20 hectares. And the inauguration was in 1970. And our university is divided in three main areas: the Center for Technology Science, the Center for Education and Human Science, and the Center for Biological and Health Science, where I'm working. Almost we have 12,000 students and 1,000 professors, split in 30 departments with 40 undergraduate courses and 40 postgraduate courses. And the Environment and Science Department was founded in 2012. In this time, Brazil invests a lot in education in the country. Then we open a lot of different courses linked to human science and biological science principally. And our department is linked for the Center for Biological and Health Science, and it's responsible for offering subjects and disciplines mainly in the undergraduate of environmental management and analysis, and the postgraduate program in environmental science. Our undergrad course was created in 2009, and it's designed to provide education in environmental issues. And the undergrad work with some issues that's mostly linked to sustainability, as water resources, biodiversity, environmental planning, pollution, land degradation, climate change, and sustainable use of the natural resources, for example. And we are in 26 professors, and the undergrad course is divided in 8 semesters. And our postgraduate program in environmental science was created in 2012-13 and also is designed to provide postgraduate education and research also in environmental issues. And then we have master's and PhD programs that the students are enabled to give conditions for developing interdisciplinary studies with methodological and instrumentals linked also to the sustainability. We are in 23 professors divided in 3 main research lines, and nowadays we have 100 master students and 100 PhD students. Our research lines are linked to ecological systems and geosciences, landscape management, and environment and society studies. Then the main idea of our program here is the interdisciplinary research lines. We try to link a lot of different knowledges in our studies. And my research group is linked to the landscape management. Then we have different thematics. For example, the cartography, the use of cartography to analyze the landscapes, urban and regional territorial planning, urban environmental planning, urbanization process, resilience in socio-ecological systems, managing and natural areas, biodiversity conservation, environmental zoning, and other ones. And we are in 7 processors and many others associated. I have been working in the Federal University since for 10 years. I started as a student, then I did my master's degree, and last year I finished my PhD, and now I am research associated in the same research line. And I started my career in the UFSCar, in the undergrad course, as I explained to you. I did my master and my PhD in the same, also in UFSCar. And in the last 10 years, I'm a researcher associated in the geotechnology and environmental conservation of lab, also in UFSCar, where I've been working with my supervisor for the last 10 years, and we have been developing the application of geotechnologies, geoprocessing, remote sensing, and landscape metrics apply and to try to understand how the land use and land cover are changed by human activities and how are the response of the environmental quality through the time. And then we've been developing and applying some landscape metrics to analyze this context. And through this time, we've been developing some relationships with another universities and partners. And Brazil, it's a multi-diverse country. It's a country with 80 million kilometers squares. It's the 5th country biggest in the world. Then we have a lot of culture and biomes diversity, and our country is split in 5 main regions, which are mostly in terms of nature in forests and biomes is almost totally different from a region for another. Then we have a lot of questions to understand how our country are developed along the time, and how each region are being impacted with this economic growth. And we have not good projections, for example, with climate change. Almost half of the country, with a projection until 2070, we lost 40 or 30% of our total territory if you relate it to agricultural activities. And in our state, in São Paulo state, we have three main agricultural activities related to forestry, sugar cane, it's the main one, and some areas with pasture. And my main interest area of study is the Atlantic Forest in São Paulo state. In the first picture, I'm showing you the real state of the forest in the 15th century, when Brazil were discovered by the Portuguese. And nowadays, in the second picture, it's how is the forest today. We only have 10% of the original forest. And bringing this for my state, we have the original scenario here in the first picture, and the scenario in 2000 years here. Then we can see we only have minor regions of the original forest. Then it's very important to understand how is the quality of these fragments remains in the landscape, and how you can do action plans to recover and protect these areas. Then I have this kind of background in my research, that with the intensification of the anthropic pressures as a result of economic growth here in Brazil, in our case, it's because the agricultural activities, we have a process of replacing natural landscape by other kind of use. In our case, for example, by sugar cane. And in this way, the physical planning, the environmental planning based on social and economic and environmental perspective, it's because it's extremely necessary and urgent nowadays. And in this way, there's a need to analyze the changes undergone by natural landscapes over time. How the landscape is changed in the last years, and how is the quality of these fragments are being impacted. And for this, we are using geographic information systems to analyze and characterize these contexts. And for example, we've been using landscape ecology knowledge to understand the dynamic of the forests, or even the other kinds of land use, land cover. Then we have applying some techniques to analyze land use, land cover, for example, to analyze only the natural fragments, the dynamic of these fragments, for example, and the quality of the fragments, or even the connectivity of the regions. I would like to thank you again for the opportunity. These are my contacts, my email and my cell phone. If you guys want to bring me some questions about my research or possibilities here in Brazil, we are totally open to give you some more details. And goodbye, thank you.